but let's get the recording going. Okay. So again, today, if you're watching the recording, I just said this to people live, but let me say it for you. We are doing a semester review today. You need paper, something to write with, and a calculator. If you would like to participate and earn extra credit, you can also, if you're doing this live, if you just want to listen right now, watch the recording later to write everything down, that's totally fine too. Okay? It is up to you. We are doing a semester review for Math 6B. This is our communication guidelines. You guys are familiar with these. You always do a great job. Make sure that you know that if you're on camera, you will appear on the recording. Okay, here's my little announcement. 2 things you already know. First thing, after 6/23/23, which is a week from Friday, that is your last day to submit anything other than the final, anything from units 1 through 6. After that, they will not be available. Also on that same day, a week from Friday, we're going to have a little end of the year party that I'm going to invite you guys to. And I have not fully decided on the time, so details will be emailed and you will be invited, and it will appear in your live session schedule next Friday. Okay. And then on the 27th, which seems like a long time away, but it's not, it'll be here before we know it. That is when the final exam is due, part 1 and part 2, and it's worth 180 points. Some of you have already completed that. Most of you will probably complete it early because if you're on schedule, that means you're done with all of your units. You just have the final left. If you have more than the final left, that's okay. You have time. But you are able to complete this early if you feel ready. And hopefully after today, you will feel ready. Here are the guidelines for today. So make sure you're looking at this. If you want extra credit, you have to do some things. You have to copy everything down for all 15 questions. Now, you're not going to have to copy every single question. I'll kind of guide you on what you need to write. So actually, let me just mark that out. But you do need to show your work and your answer for every question, just like you have done for the other extra credit opportunities. My idea for you would be to, hold on, let me grab some paper. If it was me, I would take some notebook paper, I would fold it hot dog style, just like this. I would unfold it and I would make maybe like 3 problems here, 3 problems here, okay, something like that. If you write small, you can fit everything on one piece of paper. Just make sure that I'm going to be able to read it so that I can give you the points. If you want to earn extra credit, you need to email me a picture of all of your work, or you can text a picture of your work as well. Some of you do that, or you can send it through Skype. Okay. Okay. Any questions before we start? We're about to start number 1. Give me a check if you're ready to go. You need paper, something to write with, and I would also encourage you to have a little calculator. Luca, let me know when you're ready, bud. Give me a check when you're ready. Rael, this is something that hasn't been offered on the course. This is totally separate. This is a whole semester review. So I actually have to add this into the grade book. It's not been added in yet. Okay, thanks, Luca. Mikkel, let me know when you're ready. Anybody else still grabbing stuff? Give me a check when you're ready to go. It's totally up to you, Joshua. That's perfect. Yeah. Take your full paper, hot dog style, just like this. And then you can just kind of number down the page. Okay, that's perfect. If you joined a little late, real quick, I'm going to end this. important dates that you need to be aware of. Abby, this is for you, girl. Abby gave me the idea, everybody, for the end of the year party. Abby, we're going to do that a week from Friday on June 23rd. I'm going to email details and you'll be invited on your live session schedule. But also that same day, it's the last day to submit. And then the final exam is due on the 27th. Okay, are we ready, everybody? I am recording this. So again, if you just want to listen right now, you can, and then you can go back and watch this later if it stresses you out and you feel rushed, okay? Now, again, I don't want you to write the question. I don't want you to take time to draw these shapes, okay? I just want you to write what I'm going to write. So it says, what is the ratio of squares to, we'll just call those diamonds, okay? So we're going to do two things. We're going to write the original ratio, then we're going to simplify it, okay? So on your paper, oh, that's a little too thick. Hold on. I want you to write number 1, and then you're going to write original ratio. Okay. And let's count. Let's see, it's 3 across and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. So squares to draw your best diamond is 15. Again, you're writing what I'm writing. And diamonds is 4 by 5, so 15 to 20. Okay. Ollie, no worries. We are doing a final exam review for extra credit. To earn extra credit, you are writing what I'm writing on your paper. Okay. If you just want to listen, feel free. Okay, so now we need to, you don't have to change colors like me. I'm just doing it so it's easier for you guys to see. But now we're going to simplify. Okay. To simplify, we need to think of, what can I divide both of these numbers by? They're both in the 5 family. Let's start there. Okay, 15 divided by 5 is 3. 20 divided by 5 is 4. So the final answer, there are 3 ways to write it, remember. You can write it as a fraction, 3 to 4. You can write it with words, 3 to 4, or you can write it with a colon, 3 colon 4. Hi, Nijay. We are doing an extra credit assignment as our semester review. Hi, Rith. If you've already completed the final, you can still do this and earn extra credit points today. All you need to do is write down what I'm writing. Make sure you're numbering. Make sure you have your work like I do, and then make sure you have your answers. I'll try to be consistent, guys, and write my work in blue and my answers in red, so you can make sure that you are getting everything down. Okay, I know that some of you may not be done copying. I'm going to move forward in a second because I'm trying to respect everybody's time. We've already taken 8 minutes and we're only on number 1. And I will come back to this at the end if we need to. Okay. Thank you, Nijay, you're right. Okay, complete the ratio table. On your paper, I do want you to write this. So with me, I'm going to do it too, just to show you how easy it is. Draw yourself a T-chart, just like this. X and Y. 2, 3, nothing, blank. We're going to fill that in. Blank, 9, and 15. Okay. So we have to figure out what is the rule, what is happening, and what you want to do is you always want to go to the row that has both numbers, and that is right here. And you're looking for the rule. What's happening from 3 to 9? Well, I know that it's 3 times 3. That's the rule the whole way. Okay, so we have to multiply 2 times 3. That's 6. And something times 3 is 15. That's going to be 5. So your answers are 5 and 6 up here. Future, I can talk with you about that bud at the end, okay? Okay. So make sure you have that table written down. Make sure you know how I got the answers of 6 and 5. Again, I can come back at the end if you are not quite finished. Just give yourself a little room. Let's go on to number 3. Again, there's 15 questions. Every 96 hours, 32 yards of wooden fencing is built and painted. What is the unit rate? Enter your answer as a fraction in the box. Okay. So, notice right here, guys, this is super important, that they want you to give your answer in yards per hour. The reason that might be tricky is because they give you hours first in the problem. And sometimes we've talked about how whatever comes first should be on top of your ratio. Most of the time that's true, but this time we're going to pay attention right here to our answers, okay? So yard is going to go on top. Again, you're just writing what I'm writing. You don't have to copy the question. And hour needs to go on the bottom. Now we're going to translate that into our numbers. Okay, that's a little arrow. Sorry, that is not a good arrow. Let me just redo that. It's just getting worse. Okay. How many yards originally? 32 yards and 96 hours. Okay. We need to figure out how many yards in 1 hour, because that's what a unit rate is. Unit rate is comparing something to 1. Okay. Well, how do we do that? I know that to get from 96 to 1, I'm dividing by 96. 96 divided by 96 gives me 1. So I have to do the same thing to 32, which is going to be kind of weird. Okay. 32 divided by 96. Notice they want us to enter our answer as a fraction, so we do not need to use a calculator because a calculator is going to give us a decimal. So we need to do our long division, okay? Can 96 go into 32? No. Okay. It cannot. It goes into it 0 times, right? You know what? We're gonna get confused on this. Let me do this. Hold on. Let's do it this way. Sorry, erase that or mark it out. That's fine. We're just gonna simplify. Okay. I know that I can divide these both by, what about 8? Yeah. Right? 32 divided by 8 is 4. They're both in the 8 family. And 8 times what is 96? Hopefully you know that's 12. But we can do it again. You got to go until you're all the way down. So let's divide by, you could start with 2s, but I know that these are both in the 4 family. So that's 1 over 3. And this is going to look kind of weird, but it's 1/3 yard per hour. What you would type in this box right here, guys, is 1 over 3. Okay. So make sure that you have all of this on your paper that I wrote, because that's your work and that's your answer. Okay. Rith, do you have a question?
Miss Dove, I'm in a meeting currently, so I can't write the math equations. So can I watch the recording and send the equations to you?
Yes, that's what you may have joined after I said that. If you just want to listen right now, you can totally watch the recording after and write everything down. Totally fine. And if you guys can't stay the whole time, I'm recording the entire thing so you can watch it later. I'll even send it out in an email to make sure everybody has it, okay? Okay, I'm going to keep moving. I can come back if I need to at the end. Sorry. Number 4, 2 parts. You do not have to write the question. Just make sure you're writing with me. Okay. Mrs. Gomez purchased 60 balloons for a party, but when she got home, 5% of the balloons had lost air. Determine how many balloons had lost air by the time she got home. And I gave you a little hint. What is 5% of 60? Okay, so that's what they're asking. How many balloons lost air? I know it was 5% of them, and the total amount she bought was 60. So here's your work for this question. We know that to find part of something, okay, remember that we've learned that part equals percent times whole. Okay. So percent is 5%. I'm going to write it like that because it's a little less big. Sorry. And the whole amount of balloons was 60. But in order to actually calculate that, we have to make our percentage into a decimal. And remember to do that, it's out of 100. Okay. So it's 5 hundredths, which is 0.05 times 60. Those get multiplied together. Okay, and this is where you can use your calculator if you would like. 0.05 times 60 is 3. Let me write my answer in red like I said I was going to do. 3. So 3 balloons had lost air. So there's part A. Okay, part B. Mrs. Gomez purchased the balloons for $50. Whoa. This price is 20% off the regular price. What's the regular price for the balloons? Hint. 50 is what percent of the regular price? Well, if it's 20% off, she's paying, good job, 80% of the regular cost. So we're going to use our same formula. Part equals percent times whole. Well, she paid part. She did not pay the whole price. Okay. So she purchased for $50. 50 is our part this time. So it's a little bit different. Now, real quick, listen. We are not putting 20% here. That would mean that she only paid 20% of the whole cost. She got 20% off. That means, that's why I put this little hint here. That means she paid 80%. Okay. Oh, sorry. So 80% goes here. And do we know the whole price? No, that's what they're asking us for. So let's call that X. We don't know that yet. Okay. Real quick, let me rewrite this so that my percentage is a decimal. Remember, that's really 80 hundredths, which is 0.8 or 0.80. Okay. Now I have to go back in my brain to the first part of 6th grade and think, how do I solve a one-step equation? I need to solve for X. Well, right now, X is being multiplied. I have to undo that. Good job, Michelle. I have to divide both sides by 0.80. And so 0.80 divided by 0.80, those cancel. And let's see, you can use your calculator. 50 divided by 0.80 is 62.5. So she should have paid $62.50, but because she got 20% off, she only paid $50. But this is what they were asking for. What is the regular price for the balloons? $62.50. Okay. Hey, Mikkel, can I come back to this at the end for you? And we can talk about it again. help me remember. I'm going to make a note to myself right here. Guys, if you get confused on a problem, just let me know. And at the end, I can come back and we can talk about it some more. So we'll come back, bud. Okay, I'm going to give you guys about 30 seconds to finish copying, and then we're going to move on. We're about to move into geometry. Area. We're about to do number 5. There are 15 questions. Okay, here we go. Yes, I want you to draw the shape. There are 2 on this page. It will not take you long to draw a rectangle and a triangle. Okay, so I'm going to put this in red so that you guys know, or blue actually. I said blue. I do want you to draw the rectangle, and I want you to write the length and the width, and then I do want you to draw the triangle, but we're not doing the triangle yet. Let's do the rectangle first. Okay, area. We need to know our formulas. Area equals base times height, or length times width. Okay, these are individual. Good question. We're finding them separate. I just wanted to make sure that we all talked about how to find the area of a rectangle and a triangle, so I put them on the same slide. Okay, 2 1/4 times 3/4. Okay, let's stay in fraction world because the problem is in fraction form. Most likely, if the answer is not a whole number, the course is going to want you to type your answer as a fraction or choose multiple choice, which one is the right answer. So 2 1/4 has to become improper. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9, so 9/4 times 3/4. And when you multiply fractions, you multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom, and then simplify. So that's 27/16. Okay. And then 16 goes into 27 one whole time. Okay. And how many's left over? Let's see, 16 to 27. Is that 11? Do we agree with my answer? 1 and 11/16, and it's m squared. Y'all check my math, make sure I didn't make a mistake. That is a 1. It does not look like a 1. Let me see if I can erase it like a tiny little space. No. Come on. Come on. Okay, I'm just erasing the 1. Hold on. We good on that? 1 and 11/16. Okay, yes, I want you to draw the triangle. Make sure you draw your right triangle, and I want you to write all the numbers around it, just like you see here. And then here's what I want you to do. I want you to mark out that 3. I do want you to write it, but then I want you to mark it out because I want your brain to remember that you don't need that slanted side because your base and height have to make a right angle, just like these 2 sides do here. So write the formula. I like to do base times height divided by 2. If you want to do times 1/2, you can. My base is 2.4. My height is 1.8. I do need to multiply those first. I'm fine with you using your calculator. 2.4 times 1.8 is 4.32. And then finally, don't forget, you have to divide by 2. And your answer is 2.16 centimeters squared. Do not forget that when you have a triangle, you have to divide by 2. I would definitely have those formulas on maybe like a little note card off to the side at your desk area. Rectangle, triangle, parallelogram, and trapezoid would be the 4. Okay, we're about to move on to number 6. There are 15 questions. Okay, number 6 is called you could call it a couple things. A composite figure might be what you see. And it's a combination of two things. Okay, so I do want you to draw this real quick. The way that I would draw it is I would draw a rectangle. And then I would just put a triangle right on top. It does look like a pentagon. But we don't have a formula for a pentagon, so we're going to use two formulas and combine them together. We're going to use the formula for a rectangle, just like we did on the last page, and then we're going to use a formula for a triangle. Okay, let's do the rectangle first. Base times height, 24 times 10, that's 240. Okay, then I have to do my triangle, and here's what I want you to see, guys. Make sure you see this. That because the bottom, let's call it a house, the bottom of the house is 24, so the top of the rectangle, think about a house before you get to the roof, is also 24. We will not use the 10 in this formula. We will use the 24 and the 9. Base times height, don't forget to divide by 2. 24 times 9 divided by 2. There's a couple ways you could do this. Here's how my brain likes to look at it. 24 divided by 2 is 12. 12 times 9 is 108. You could also multiply 24 and 9 first. That is 216. Either way, you're going to get 108 inches squared. Now, we're not done because we have to find the area of everything together. So your final answer is 240 plus 108. And that is 348 inches squared. So we added our two areas together. Great job. Okay, about 30 seconds and we're going on to the next. We have 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 more area problems / volume surface area, and then we're moving on to our last couple of units, which was all about statistics. Thanks for sticking with me. Hopefully this will be very helpful before you take your final. If you've already taken it, you get extra credit just like everybody else. Okay, let's go on to the next one. This is a parallelogram. Guess what? A parallelogram is easy because it's just like a rectangle, same formula. It's just a parallelogram that was kind of slanted to the side. Whoops, I want to write in blue. Stay consistent. Okay. However, this one's a little tricky because we are having to figure out how to solve for the base, but you already know how to do this. The area of the parallelogram is 50 square kilometers. So we need to plug in 50 for A. What is the parallelogram's base? B. We don't know, so we're going to write B. But we do know the height. Now, yes, I forgot to say this. Copy this figure down real quick because I want your brain to remember something important. So I'm going to trace it in blue. Sorry, it's not perfect. I move this a little bit. There, that's a little better. Whatever. Make sure you have the height as 5. With that little right angle B, and then write down 8. But guess what I want you to do with 8? Mark it out because we don't need it. And I want your brain to remember that, Luca, that is for a trapezoid. So don't do that for this one. We do not need 8. They are trying to trick you. Okay. The height is 5. Okay. Mikkel, great question. How do we know that we don't need it? You only need, this is for everybody to listen to, you only need the base and the height for a parallelogram, for a triangle, okay, that make a right angle. So I know that that's way too big. Hold on. Let me use my line tool. I know that I only need this line down here and this line, Mikkel, because they create that right angle. 8 creates a angle that's less an acute angle. Does that make sense, Mikkel? So you're always looking for that perpendicular angle right here. Okay, of course. Finally, we need to solve for B. You probably can do it in your head. What times 5 is 50, but you also can divide both sides by 5, and B equals 10. So the base has to be 10. Sorry, that is a B, not a 6. Okay, questions about that? Okay, here we go, number 8. Yes, I want you to draw this real quick. Square in the middle, triangles all around. Real quick, draw it. Square in the middle, and then your triangles all around. I'll do it with you, just to know that it's not, for you to know it's not, that won't take you that long. Notice the question is, what is the surface area of the shape below? Now, before we do the surface area, I also want to talk about what net would this figure form if we were to fold it up. So I want you to write this with me. This is a net of a, good job, square pyramid. Do you guys want to know a fun activity? I wish I could go get them real quick, but I don't want to waste your time. Me and my boys yesterday, it's been raining a lot at our house, so we're having to find things to do inside that don't require devices. So we got some toothpicks and we got some mini marshmallows, and we made all types of shapes yesterday. We made houses, we made a square pyramid, we made people. It was so fun. So maybe you could get your learning coach the next time they're at the store, say, can you get me some toothpicks and some mini marshmallows? It's cheap and it's pretty delicious too. Good little snack. But it was fun. We talked about shapes. So something fun to do if you're bored. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. To find the surface area, we have to get each shape and add it all together. And a lot of people did not do this right on one of the part 2 tests. So make sure you're listening. I'm going to make a list of all of our shapes. We have a square. And then we have 4 triangles. So feel free just to draw your triangles like that rather than writing the word triangle. But guess what? All the triangles are the same. So we only have to find one, and then it's the same thing for every. Okay, so the square is 3 inches. They don't give you 2 dimensions for that, so you know it's a square. So we're doing 3 times 3. That is 9. Hey, Vincent, help me remember that I have a question for you at the end. Okay, don't let me forget. I'm going to write it down on my little notes. That's so sad. I'm sorry you don't like marshmallows. I guess there's not much to them, huh? It's just sugar. Okay, triangle. Look, Mikkel, do you see this, bud? This is for you. This is my height, and my base is 3 because it makes that perpendicular line. Okay? So I'm going to do 8 times 3. Whoops, let me go back to blue. But I have to divide by 2 because it's a triangle. And that is going to give me 12. So guess what? Write 12 down for all 4. Finally, you add it all up to get a total. Well, I know that 12 times 4 is 48 plus 9, 57. Do we agree with that? Let me make sure I'm not telling you the wrong thing. I get nervous that I'm going to make a mistake. Yes. So, and let me actually write that in red. Sorry. Trying to be consistent. So the surface area is 57 inches squared. This surface area. And remember, guys, for a square, to find the area, it's also base times height. I didn't write that down, but it's the same formula. Or you can just say side squared, side times side. Okay. That's why I did 3 times 3. Any questions? Otherwise, we're going to keep on moving. We're about to do a volume question, I think, maybe. And then we're moving on to statistics. We're getting close. We're almost to number 9. There's only 15. Okay. What is the volume of the shape below? Volume. Whoops. Come on, Miss Dove. Blue. I want you to write this. Volume equals length times width times height. So we are doing all those numbers multiplied by each other. This is only for volume. Some people want to do this for surface area too. So remember that this is just volume. 4, and I'm going to put these in parentheses because I don't want those x's to make me confused because we do algebra now and we know that an x can be a variable. And then times 1/2. I'm going to just multiply 4 times 1 first, then 4 times 1/2. Super easy to do. Put 1 over 4. Put 4 over 1. And then you multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom. I get 4 over 2. That simplifies to 2 centimeters, and it is cubed because we are now in volume, which is 3D. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Any questions? Okay, we're getting close. We're about to go to number 10. Again, at the end, I can come back if you need me to. Okay, I know this is tiny. I'm so sorry. You don't have to write you do not have to write the problem. I'm going to read it to you first. A cereal box measures 2.5 inches by 8.5 inches by 12 inches. The cereal makers decide to make a larger family size box. The volume of the family size box is 40% greater than the regular box. What is the volume of the family size box? This is kind of tricky, so make sure you're listening. We need to find the original first. Whoops, blue. I'm getting tired of blue, but I'm going to stay consistent. I can do it. We're going to find the original volume. Okay. Then we're going to figure out what's 40% of that, and we'll add it on. Okay. So original volume, we're going to do 2.5 times 8.5. It's an 8, sorry. Times 12. Okay. So let's make these improper. That's 5 over 2 times 17 over 2 times 12, and we'll put 12 over 1. Okay. And let's just multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom. Okay. So 5 times 17 times 12 is going to be a huge number. Oh my goodness. 1020, 1020. The bottom number is going to be 4. Now, you can cross simplify. Nathan, you're right. I just didn't want to confuse anybody. So that's why I didn't do it. But you could simplify 2 and 12 for sure. You want to hear a little multiplying rule that I know? I think this is going to be divisible by 4 because it ends in a 20. Let's see. 1020 divided by 4. It is. So you can just divide this and you get 255. So here is the volume of the original box. Okay. Now we are going, let me make sure I did that right too. I'm going to use my calculator real quick. Yes. Okay. Now we're going to take the original volume and we're going to figure out 40% of it. And we're going to add that on because this says it's 40% greater. Okay. So I need to figure out what is 40% of 255. 40%. Remember that of means to multiply. 255. This needs to be changed into a decimal so that I can compute with it, which means figure out the answer. So 0.40 times 255 is 102. Here's what that means. My family box has 102 inches cubed more volume. Okay. So my final thing is to take my original, add on that 40%, and that's going to give me my final volume of my family box. And my family box has 357 inches cubic volume. Whew. Great job if you stuck with me on that. Any questions? Future, you have a question?
Yes, I do. For the 5/2, how did you get 5/2?
Oh, good question. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So that becomes my numerator, and the 2 stays as the denominator.
So you take away the whole number?
You multiply the whole number times the denominator, and then you add the numerator. Just like here, I did 8 times 2 is 16, plus 1. That's where I got the 17.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. If you guys don't have a question, will you put your hands down for me? Future Nathan, will you guys put your hands down if you don't have a question? Thank you. Okay, we're almost done. We're getting so close. Number 11, here we come. What are the measures of center of the set of data? Guess what? It's not in order, so let's do that first. And yes, I want you to do this with me. So 11 is my lowest number. So 11. I have another 11. I have another 11. Any other 11s? No. Then I have a 12 and another 12. I'm going to put commas so we know that these need to be separated so they don't look like 111. 13 and another 13. Then I have a 14. Then I have a 15 and another 15. A 16 and an 18. Okay. What is the mean? Now, we didn't have to put them in order for the mean, but we do have to do it for the median. So that's why I wanted to go ahead and put it in order. Nigel, you can't see this? Is anybody else not able to see it? To find the mean, you have to add everything up. So I'm going to do that first. And then I want us to write, okay, good. Then I want us to write that total down. So you're adding with me. You can use your calculator. Make sure you type everything in correctly. And I got a total of 161. So I want you to write mean is 161, and I have to divide that by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Do you guys agree with me that the total is 161? Can you guys make sure that I did that correctly, somebody? When I divide by 12, okay, thank you, Rael. Thank you, Jamie. I'm going to put this as my answer. I'm just going to round to the nearest 10th. That's what I got for the mean. Thank you, guys. Okay, median, I'm going to just kind of write the answer next to the word median, but I'm going to show my work above because I'm going to, remember, I like to underline or cross out one at a time, lowest to highest. Okay, there's 4 on each side. There's 5 on each side, 6 on each side. Uh-oh. Easy. The middle numbers are the same, so my median is 13. If you wanted to prove it, 13 plus 13 is 26. 26 divided by 2 is 13. Okay. And the mode. What number? Mode is the number that appears most. Which one's there the most number of times? You got it. 11 is there 3 times. Everything else is there less than that. So 11 is the mode. Very, very good. And I guess I should have written this in red. Forgive me. Sorry. 13.4 is the mean. And because 11 is there 3 times, it wins. Okay. 12 is there twice. 13 is there twice. 15 is there twice, but those are not the modes because they are not there the most number of times. Peter, does that make sense? I'm not sure. Okay. Let me know if you still have a question. Okay. About to go on to number 12. We're so close. Oh my goodness, I did not realize what time it was. Okay, we got to hightail it. Okay. Do not copy the line plot. I just want you to write your answer. So number 12A, okay, you can just write. There's 15 questions. How many more people are age 56 than age 50? Okay, so I want you to write this. 56 equals 50 equals. How many people are 56? 3. Okay. It's right there. How many people are 50? 2. 3 minus 2. The answer is 1. Good. How many people are at least 53? Guys, at least means 53 or more. Okay, so we're counting this. We're counting the 56, the 57s, the 58s, and the 62. So that is 3 X's here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 12B, you can just write 11 people. Okay? You do not have to copy the questions or anything. Okay, I'm going to keep going. I can come back at the end if you guys need me to. Okay. I'll hurry through this, but I wanted to talk about this because this is confusing for people on histograms. Draw a histogram to represent the data. You have to do this, I think, or at least pick the correct histogram on your final. So that's why I wanted to talk about this. Before you graph, you have to make a frequency table. So real quick, write this down. Frequency table. And our frequencies, guys, are down here. Okay? 70 to 73. Sorry. Then 74 to 77. Then 78 to 81. And then 82 to 85. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and make a tally table for my numbers. So I have a 72, that goes here. Another 72, that goes here. 73, that goes here. 75 goes here. 77 goes here. 79 here. 79 here. 76 goes right here. Then 74, 70, 70, 72, 72, 78, 79, 81, 81, and 82. So if you're copying this down for your table, there should be 7 tallies in the first row, 4 tallies, 6 tallies, and 1. So what you would do is you would pick the histogram where the first column goes up to 7. The second column goes up to 4. The third column goes up to 6. And the last column only goes up to 1. And you can just kind of sketch this real quick. It does not have to be perfect. If you're doing this quickly on your paper, you could even just make like a little graph like this and just show me that this goes up to 7 and just kind of estimate this goes to 4, 6, and 1. I'm totally good with that. That took me 10 seconds. Okay. I can come back to this in a minute. I want to get through the last 2 questions. I'll come back. Using the following data set, find the Q1, Q3, IQR, and range. Okay, let's put our data in order first. We have 8. Then we have 2 10s. We're almost done. Then an 11. Whoa. Then we have a big gap. Then we have a 20. Another 20. 21. 27, 28, 29. Okay. Remember that to find your Q1, Q3, IQR, we got to find the median first for those first 2. Okay, so let's see the median. I'm going to use my fingers real quick. Okay, the 2 middle numbers are 20. So my median's 20. That splits my data into my lower half, my upper half. The Q1 is the middle of my lower half, which is 10. There's 2 on either side. The Q3 is the median of my upper half, which is 27. The IQR is when you subtract your Q3 and your Q1. And the range is when you subtract your lowest and your highest. That's 21, right? Okay, so there's Q1, Q3, IQR, and range. Okay, let me do the last one real quick, and then I can, if you want to stay for a minute, if you did not get everything down. And if you need to go, I'm recording this. You can finish watching it in a little while. Okay, last question. What is the MAD, the mean absolute deviation? Okay, step 1 is to get the mean. So let's do that real quick. I'm going to add it up. 9 plus 8 plus 10 plus 10 plus 3 plus 6 plus 10 plus 8. Woo! I got 64. Divide that by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, that's easy. My mean is 8. Second step is to find the deviation. So, how far is every number from 8? So, we're doing 9 minus 8. That's a deviation of 1. 8 minus 8. That's a deviation of 0. 10 minus 8. That's a deviation of 2. 10 minus 8 again, another 2. 3, I got to do 8 first because 3 is smaller. That's a deviation of 5. 6, it's a deviation of 2. 10 again, that's a deviation of 2. And 8 again, that's a deviation of 0. Third step is to find the mean of this. And then you're done. So 1 plus 0 plus 2 plus 2 plus 5 plus 2 plus 2 plus 0 is 14. Again, I have 8 numbers. 14 divided by 8 is 1.75. So my MAD is 1.75. Done. Woohoo! Sorry, I went 1 minute over. I tried really hard. Okay. Stay if you have questions. Stay if you want me to go back. If you don't want me to, if you want to just watch the recording in a little while, it'll be ready in just a few minutes. Let me give my final direction before we leave so that the people that are watching the recording remember. For all 15 questions, you do not have to write the question, but you do need to write what I wrote. So all of the work, which was mostly in blue, answers, which were mostly in red, email me a picture, or let me put my Skype and my phone number up too. And then I'm going to stop the recording and answer questions. Here is the number you can text. It's about to be on the screen. And my Skype, let me grab it. Here's a little picture of me on Skype. It's the picture I use all the time with my red shirt on. And there's my little username. Okay. Thank you guys for watching today. Again, if you have questions, stick around.